Sorry about that. YouTube was having a problem. Let's see if they are done having technical difficulties. And see if people get on here. There's 3 people watching. Anybody know where I got left off at? Sorry about that. YouTube was having some type of technical difficulty, and I had to close out the program completely and start it over again. So don't know what happened there. So where I left at, I forgot where I left off. So if anybody wants to refresh where I left off at, because I think it was still recording on my end, but and I was still talking, but I don't think anybody was actually viewing it. Um, so I'll go back to the sign to support either scenario of Sam's alive or Sam's not. There's no evidence, and that's the craziest thing about this. You were going to tell us about the things written on your board. Avalanche. Yes, avalanches. If she was hit by an avalanche, that's would be a small one. It would be mainly like ice and rock. And you would tend to think with a small avalanche there would be sign. You get crushed by ice and rock. It's not a pretty picture. Victims of avalanches aren't something that people usually have open caskets for. If you know what I'm getting at. So there would be sign in an avalanche. And I found earlier this year, I found a guy's belongings that was in an avalanche. We thought he perished, but because we found his ID and his car keys and money and his credit cards and everything in a little dry box, all of his gear in this avalanche field, and we thought there was a person perished under the ice and snow, but luckily he self-rescued out of the avalanche and left all of his belongings there and made it out alive. After we got down, we talked to the sheriff about it, and he ran a check on the guy, and she had slid into a crevasse by an ice or snow moat. Yes, and that's where our next focus is of ruling out the mountain. Is the snow moats, the Bergstrongs down on the north side need to be investigated further. Let's just say by the freak accident, she fell off the face, and her and all of her belongings fell down, and she went into a snow moat without anybody, without any sign whatsoever. That's a possibility. Really unlikely, but it is a possibility, so they need to be checked out. Our plan on the 49th end in that is being able to get down in there. Probably going to have to helicopter in to the ridge, the north ridge that runs out to Big 4. It's got a really nice flat top on it. So we'd have to helicopter in there and then go up to get on the glaciers and walk the edge of that snow moat. And it's too risky to drop people in there right now because of the heat, and they're just dangerous areas. They break off, big chunks, little chunks. You got a lot of rockfall on Thursday when me, Kevin, and Clay was up on the North Ridge searching Sperry. Kevin was doing drone of the North Ridge as much as he can, and me and Clay, we went up to start searching Sperry for sign, and all of a sudden you could just hear just this huge massive rock slide come down. So not only do you have to be careful of ice falling on you, but you have to be careful of rocks falling on you. So the snow area is a very dangerous area to be in. That's why it hasn't been extensively searched, but that's something that we hopefully plan on being able to do, because it needs to be done. Because if by a 1 in a million shot her and all our belongings are down in there, then we need to get down in there and find her. I was thinking you can't. Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. That's our plan. So our plan is to get GoPro on paracord or on a stick, but we need to get some cameras with some lights down inside that moat as far as we can get down in there, and just work that whole moat line with a camera and then review the footage, because it's just too dangerous to go down inside there right now. If we had colder temperatures at night where it would freeze up really good, then it'd be a little bit safer going down in there. But with all the rock fall coming off the north face, it's pretty dangerous to be inside a moat, let alone, or be on that ice at all. So when we do that, it's got to be done very, very carefully, because we don't need anybody getting crushed by rocks from up there. So that's something that definitely has to be looked into and searched more thoroughly. And then all the other areas, we got to push our search area further out, be into the places that haven't been searched a lot. That's where we're starting to focus our energy. Anyway, removing some of the ice, snow. Yeah, that's something that's, we're talking like solid ice, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet thick. The only way you could really, blast it out, that'd be the only way to do that, and that's really dangerous. So the only option really of checking those is by camera. So not really much any other one. Did anyone follow up on that blood near the summit? Now that's a good question. I get that a lot. That was never confirmed or denied. I guess the Boy Scouts thought they saw blood when we were up there on the 8th. I don't know when. I can't remember when the blood was discovered or when that came about, but I know when we were up there on the 8th, 9th, 10th, searching up there, we didn't see no blood, but that doesn't mean we missed it. But don't know about the blood. I know that it was just blown off, I guess is the easiest way to say it, that it wasn't probably related to her. It was probably related to something else. So haven't found much more on that, on the blood thing. But we're waiting. About someone videotaping her as she was summoning. Is that video available to watch? Yeah, it's out there online. I think on the Sam Sayers website they have it on there. One of the news agencies that ran a story, they had it on their story. A clip of it. It's not very long, but yeah, it does show her with a brimmed hat, ski poles in hand, cruising up towards the summit. So that video is out there to find. Go to samsayers.com. I think it's there, or on the Facebook groups. You just have to dig to be able to find it, or you could email one of the people and they should be able to direct you to where you can find that. So video of her going up, but no video of her coming down whatsoever. But it really is a mystery. I mean, it is complete vanish, without a trace. And, we have to rule out the mountain first. And that's where everybody's focus is. Kevin's focus is right now is making sure that resources aren't wasted and we're not looking in the wrong place. So we just got to keep pushing out until it's ruled out that she can't be up there. And like I said, back to evidence, there's no evidence to support her still being up there or in the area, and there's no evidence to support that she's dead up in that area. So it's really one of those things where, man, it's hard to really come up with a strategy and a plan on which way to go. If you're in your mind thinking, I start to wonder about the real Bigfoot when you hear stuff like this, strange. Yeah, that's a possibility. And right now we have to, we looked at all the logical. I've gone up to places, late at night, 4 or 5, up there on the mountain. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna not watch my feet. I'm just gonna just cruise, put myself on autopilot mode, and see what happens. See if I stumble off the trail. See where the terrain might take me in a certain place. We went through. I'm wondering what supplies Sam had in her back. So she had some water bottles, maybe a couple Cliff Bars, and 3 sandwiches as far as what anybody knew that she had in her backpack. She could have had more, and a cotton hoodie. She could have had more, she could have had less, but that's pretty much what is established as what Kevin knew that she might have in her pack based off of past habits. So not a lot to go on there. So yeah, you know, so we've done all the logical searches. We've done all the things where, okay, if she went off trail here or if she fell there, we've searched all those areas. Now we're going into the phase of, you know, the mysterious, the phenomenal, we're starting to entertain all the other weird hypothesis that you normally wouldn't think of, you know, in a loss. Like, oh, did aliens grab her, or was she abducted at the trailhead, or some freak occurrence of where she was just walking and the ground opened up and swallowed her whole and then filled in, not to be seen from again. So those are where we're at right now in this, is where we have to start entertaining, you know, the weird, the uncanny, the total out of place scenarios, because we went through all the logical ones and we haven't found any evidence. So that has to dictate that we have to go in a different direction, and going in that different direction is, because Sasquatch have kidnapped her. You know, as ludicrous as it sounds, you know, I've heard things out there in the wilderness that's made me question, is there a primate out there? I won't say I believe there is one, and I won't say that I believe there is not one. The possibility is there. And that's where we're at right now, is we have to look at all the different possibilities that could play out, no matter how strange and ridiculous it might sound. And that's what, you know, we're doing. That's what Kevin and the Find Sam Sayers group and volunteers are doing, is we're trying to go into those places that are the weird, you know, spots of where could she be or what could have happened. But yeah, it's a real mystery. It's really sad. I watch Lisa's videos every night. And yeah, and there's one that needs her daughter, and a daughter out there that needs her mom, and there's more questions than answers. And it's just really, really heartbreaking. And, you know, and for me, it's, I don't know why I'm so emotionally attached to it. Maybe I knew in a previous life or something, but I feel this, like, it's heart-wrenching. Yeah, that's right, Berna. I just feel this drive and this determination to be involved in it from when I heard about it. And I just wish, and I just, like, kick my butt every day that I found out so late. You know, I found out after a week, 7 days she was missing, when I finally found out about the story and heard about it. And the next day I was out there. I don't know. There's other been people that's gone missing up here. From my first search with Patty Krieger on to Sam's now. Been on a couple other ones, helping, looking for people. One guy was missing on Found Lakes. Went up there and looked for him. He was finally found, I think a year later, perished up there by some hunters, I think, or some other hikers found him. And then some, that I haven't felt a connection to, but I felt a connection to this one, and for some reason, and yeah, and we're gonna give it our all. You know, we're committed to this. As long as, you know, she's missing and out there, we're going to be looking and searching in some form or another. And also we need to educate people preventatively. You know, we need to talk about that. Like, what could have prevented this? Number one is never go alone. I can't, you know, stretch this enough. I went last Saturday. No, it wasn't Saturday. It was Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I went up alone. There's a video, and I got some pictures of my little solo trip. I was going to stay close to the trail. And I got up. I found a mine at it. Got really excited. Oh, well, there's one mine at it. There's going to be more. Maybe this is a place, because it hasn't been searched. It's not logical that she'd be there. So maybe I'll just go cruise up there, because nobody else was out for the day in my crew that can make it. So I'm just going to go up there solo. Get up there 8 a.m., Boom, bust up there. There's people going to the summit to search. There's people just hiking. You know, they're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going up Morningstar," and I jump in this drainage and just start cruising up. And I'm climbing, cliff faces, and I get up on the ledge. I find the adit. I move up further because I'm like, okay, maybe up here on this ridge, there's a ventilation shaft just by chance. Maybe she did come over this way. And before you know it, I'm up super, super high, reach the head wall of the drainage, no sign of Samantha, and okay, I have to come back down. Well, coming back down, I totally missed my little keyhole of where I came through this cliff because it was just so thick and brushy, and I wasn't flagging my route, and I couldn't find my way back through. And sometimes you could get up something relatively difficultly, but that doesn't mean you can't get back down. It's called the Hinterstoischer Traverse, is where you could go one way just fine, but you can't go back the same way in the other direction. Just one of those weird aspects of terrain. And there's a famous one on the Eiger called the Hinterstoischer Traverse from Andy Hinterstoischer, who was able to unlock the route to claim the Eiger. And he was able to traverse one way across the cliff face, but when it came to traversing back, and even in the heat of life or death, he has to make it back across that traverse or they're all going to die. He couldn't make it back just because the terrain dictated that you couldn't make it back that one direction, and all four of them perished and died. Tragedy in German history for mountaineers. Some of the greatest young mountaineers that I cherish and look up to, and that's Tony Kurtz and Andy Hinterstoischer. So there are aspects like that where you can go up, but you can't come down, or you can go down it, but you can't go up it. The terrain's just weird out here like that, and that's what I found myself in, was I couldn't find my way down, and I couldn't get down the way I came up because the terrain just dictated that I couldn't. So I spent the rest of the day, I'm in shorts, I just got my little day pack on with, some food and stuff in there. I'm thinking, oh, it's no big deal. I'm a tough beast. I'll get up there and come back down, no problem. I'm dropping down, cliff, cutting through, moving over, moving up, moving down in elevation, moving left, moving right, and I'm hitting cliffs. I'm starting to worry. It's like 4 o'clock, 4:30 now. And I haven't found a way down, and I'm not set up to stay the night. Yeah, I would have been fine if I had to stay the night on there, but I eventually got down safely and made it out. But it's just that simple. Out here, you could just go in for a day alone and think it's no big deal. I'll be in and out. I might encounter some problems, but I'll be able to adjust for it and handle it. And then you find yourself in a dangerous situation and you're fighting for your life. So number one is go with a friend. And I see people a lot who hike by themselves and have dogs. That's a step up from being alone, but it's not the answer for going out into the wilderness alone. Taking a dog is not another person. Taking a gun is not another person. If you're going out into the wilderness, make sure you have somebody with you, for that way, if something does happen to you, whether you are injured really badly or whether you fall and you die, at least there is you to be found and closure for the family if it's death, or bring you home and patch you up and you live through your ordeal. So number one, preventively, is don't go out there alone. Take a friend. If you have nobody to go with you, sit it out, or carry a spot device with you, or some type of device that will track you through your movements. And then also, if you get injured, you can hit SOS. Now, if you fall to your death, you can't hit SOS, but if you come up missing, at least that will help them to where you are, because nobody needs to be lost forever. If I was people, my dad always taught me, he's like, you're not lost if you're on this earth, and me, that's how I feel. Bro, you've done so please go in the woods alone. Always carry, even if you don't agree with it, and it's your choice. But I always recommend people take firearms into the wilderness. Take a 38 special, 357 revolver. Take 32. Take something. Not only to protect yourself from 4 or 2-legged animals, predators, but also it's great for signaling with. So those are the 2 best things you could take in the wilderness: a good friend and a good piece of steel. So that's something that we really need to get out there, a message to other people. So we talked about everything, I think, as far as hypothesis on where she could be. Number one thing is there's no evidence to support that she's alive or she's dead. So the only evidence that I believe in that supports that she's alive is mother's intuition, mother's connection. Lisa swears she's still alive. I believe her, so therefore mine, she's still alive. So based off of that, in my mind, that's my first priority, is looking in places and searching areas where that would sustain her to be alive for this long. So that's where our focus is now. On the sidelines and with other people, we're looking into also of what if she did perish up there, and she has perished in a peculiar spot where there is no sign, there is no smell, there is no nothing, like in a snow moat or some weird hole in the ground or a chimney or a crack in the ridge. Those avenues are also being looked at, because right now it's this full frontal assault in all directions of where can Samantha be, and we're entertaining all possibilities and scenarios in both aspects of if she's still alive or if she's perished, because it's all going to lead us to her. The more ground we search, the more scenarios we run through, it's all going to lead us to her. So none of it is a bad thing to do or a bad view to entertain. We have to entertain all of them, and and I understand, but that doesn't mean we need to call Lisa or message Lisa like a lot of people do and get her worked up, like how, telling her she's a fool for thinking her daughter's out there alive. I get a lot too, people saying, oh, you're a fool, what kind of socialist are you to make you think that after 34 days she's out there and she's still alive? Well, you know what? That's because I am a survivalist, is because I know that that's possible. And if you are a survivalist, and if you know what's out here in our wilderness, and if you know just the basic human will of what, where human will and pure animalistic instinct will take you, then you know that, yeah, the human, like my favorite quote from Addams Family is the human spirit is tough to break even with a chainsaw. So, there's when it comes down to it, the human spirit, the human drive to stay alive is something that you don't want to reckon with at all, because it'll show you different. I've seen people who you look at and be like, oh yeah, you won't last a week, and they're the most badass survivalist in that situation as possible. And you see some guys like, oh man, that dude's like tough as nails, man, and then he's like, heat comes on and he folds. He loses his mind and gives up instantly. So yeah, it comes down to Christine preach. It comes down to will. Will's the number one. I believe in will, morale. It's the number one thing. When we're out there and it's crappy weather, or even when it's not crappy, and we're just sitting around, everybody's sitting around having a good time, and then someone starts a fire, and just the whole boom, instant lift. You can feel it in your soul. You can feel it in your spirit, like, oh my God, life just got better because of a fire. What's a fire? A lot of people don't even think of it like that. But when you're out there and you've been out there for weeks on end, man, that fire is the greatest thing. Or glass bottled Coke. You won't believe the boost you get from just having a glass bottle of Coke or some fried chicken. There's this guy who brought us fried chicken. He's coming down the mountain. He's up. Hey, how you guys doing? We get back to base camp. He's walking by. Hey guys, you want some fried chicken? Like, heck yeah, we want some fried chicken. We've been eating freeze-dried food and Cliff Bars for days. Like, you got fried chicken, and the dude pulls out a box of fried chicken on the mountain and gives it to us. So, I mean, it was just like, bam, or when your mouth is thirsty and mouth is dry and you ran out of water and all of a sudden you come up on this big blueberry bush and like, oh my goodness, and you're just smashing blueberries by the handful, and you can just, so it's all about sheer will and knowing the little things that help boost that will, like getting a fire going on dark nights just really helps you sleep better, helps you feel safe, so little things like that will really boost your morale and get that drive kicked in to where you won't stop. Like that one guy out in Utah who cut off his own arm with a Swiss Army knife to stay. You'll do when it comes down to us saving your own life. But best thing is, the best way to avoid a situation is to avoid it. Only go in terrain that that you can handle and you feel comfortable in. Like my mom is always be safe, and all my mama bears out there that's watching right now, that's like sends me messages. Oh, don't get too close to that cliff. Be safe. Don't get injured. Da, 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 da. I love it. I do. So I tell them, I was like, yeah, we're doing dangerous stuff as safely as possible. That's my little saying to my mom and to anybody else. Like, yeah, we're doing some super sketchy, dangerous stuff, but we're doing it as safe as we can within the parameters. So I'm gonna let you guys have any questions before I get off here, and dinner is probably gonna be ready here soon. So if anybody's got any questions, go ahead and fire them off real quick, and I'll answer them as best as I can. And we'll do that for maybe, let's say, the next 10 minutes. So, or if you got any comments that you want to throw out there, go ahead and throw them out there. We all thank everybody that's supporting us, from YouTube to Instagram to Facebook. I mean, the support has been overwhelming. When we're out on the mountains, like I said, man, people are bringing us glass bottled Cokes because I asked for one. People are bringing up cases of Coca-Cola now. Because there's just something about a cold, bubbly Coke after being out in the mountains for so long. It's just such a boost of morale. Thanks, Kristen. And fried chicken, chips, pop. People brought us up whiskey and vodka. We had one guy, Jake. Oh, great guy. They were climbers. They were going to go climb Vesper. And we was able to, what is the plan, or do you know yet, with the Francis organization? Same Star Tactics or something new? Oh, it's definitely going to be something new. We're going into the direction of newer areas. And the Francis Foundation, that's pretty much what they're going to be helping with, is coordinating volunteers in ways to be more effective in our searches. So it's going to be the same as, people are going to be running over the same ground that has been covered in the easier terrain, and then there's going to be more tactical, surgical precision searching in the places that haven't either been looked at yet or are just the freak random crazy scenarios. So we'll learn more about Francis organization as tomorrow when Kevin meets with them and whatnot. I know that they're going to be here till Saturday, and they fly back out Sunday back to Michigan, and then they're going to come up with their assessment and their plan of action on their end, and then submit that to Kevin and the Sam organizations and us, and then figure out how we all are going to be able to support each other and be put at different spearheads of which directions that are the most important to go after. So that's what the John Francis organization is going to be doing. Any other questions at all? Yeah, we will. We are like I said, we're as safe as we can be. What makes them so different than SAR? Good question, Kristen. The big thing that makes them different than SAR is they're not governed by a law enforcement or governmental agency. SAR, through law enforcement, is you'll have a division in law enforcement, not really a division sometimes, but a group of officers who are trained in search and rescue practices and procedures, and coordination. The bulk, and that's on the law enforcement aspect of it. Then the bulk of SAR members are volunteers that are local to different search and rescue groups, like the Everett Mountaineers Search and Rescue. There are people out in the mountains that live off grid. Yeah, there's a lot of it. Yeah, Shirley spells it out. No rules. That's the difference between. But they still have John Francis does have rules. They have insurance and liability and all that stuff. So that's the main difference. Is between John Francis and regular search and rescue is like rules, policies, procedures, bureaucracy, insurance, liability, all that stuff. So that really sometimes restricts them more than other groups or other organizations. So that's the main difference between those two. And as far as us and the 49th is, we're just a bunch of rogue country boy mountain men that just do what we do and do whatever we have to get the job done. And we don't think about, oh, do I have life insurance? No, I don't have life insurance. I should probably get some life insurance. And I got friends who sell life insurance, and they're always like, you need life insurance. You're doing what you're doing. You got to have life insurance. And I probably should get some, and I will. So we don't have anything like that. Like, oh well, legally you can't put somebody in that dangerous situation. And normally I don't. Normally, if it's like really, if it's really sketchy, I'll always be the first one to go, because one, I have a lot of experience in treachery, sketchy terrain, dangerous places, dangerous situations, and I also have kind of the uncanny ability to go through them unscathed, even when Rockstar Kim, even when stuff goes ways, because it always does. And I've had super close calls before. Aside from saying, when will you stop looking for her? When she's found. When she's found. Like I said, we're in it for the long haul. We're in it for whatever, to find her. And as long as she's out there missing, we're going to be searching in some way or the other. We're going to be active in finding her some way or the other. If she's not on that mountain or not in that area, if she's not within 6 miles of that area, now you got to put yourself in danger to find her, or you're no help at all, right? Nobody's help to anybody dead, hurt, or injured, and I'm not a help to my family and wife and kids dead or injured. So, we make sure, there's times where we pull out where, it's like, yeah, it's too sketchy, to go down there to go. So, we're not reckless by no means. We know that how many people are on the mountain looking on any given day. Oh my goodness, that's a good question. I would say just on the mountain there to support, to look and help, between 50 to 100 people a day, more so on the weekends. So it's pretty big as far as the amount of people that go up there. Lots of people, and it's a great thing. Like, some people are like scowling, why do these people, they're just coming up here and searching the same place, walking the trail and looking, and it just takes that different eye at a different angle to find something that nobody else could find. So therefore I say, walk the trail. Yeah, if that's something you want to do, is just walk the trail and look at the terrain. And, you're doing a great job. Even if people want to say, oh, you're just walking the same trail that 1,000 people already. But it just takes that one person with a different view to be able to see something that nobody else has seen. And that's all it could take. It's just a random person at the random time, at the random angle to be able to see something. Just like that balloon. Who knows how long that balloon was sitting there? That I found the other day. And, I spotted it with my naked eye because I'm pretty trained on being in the backcountry and knowing a man-made object and knowing what's not. This thing was like a mile away up on a cliff at like 4,300 feet elevation. stuck in some trees. Was in the shadow of the mountain with my naked eye and knew it was a made object just by the shape of it and the color of it. And it's just like ingrained into your, from years and years of experience out in the wilderness, it just becomes ingrained of you when you see something natural versus unnatural. And when something's man-made or unnatural in a natural environment, it really stands out. And when I put those glasses on it, my Steiner binoculars that you guys helped me get through your financial support, I was instantly able to tell, yes, 100% man-made object, blue and white. Let's get over there and see what it is. So, we get a lot of false positives on, drone video footage from people, wanting to know what it is, thinking it's something and it turns out to be a rock, or, oh, it's purple, and it's like, no, it's just flowers. It's, or it's pinkish. No, that's heather. So, to me, I trust in intuition, and what I've gone through, my experience, and just kind of like what the environment and the universe kind of just like tells you in your ear. When you see something, usually your first gut instinct is right. So I tend to, like, when I see things, it's like I know, like, bam, that's man-made object. Bam, that's a cat track. That's bear track. So you just get accustomed to it, to the point of where there's no doubt. And if there is doubt of whether it's a man-made object or not, then probably not a man-made object, because when you know it, you know it. So that's a good thing about having more people going out and just walking the trail and looking, is because you never know when that one person sees something and knows 100% in their heart, yep, that's a man-made object, and they found it. So yeah, keep searching the trails. The more people that's up there, the more chances we are to find it. But at the same time, always be safe. Don't go out into any sketchy terrain. Don't go up there thinking, I'm gonna go put myself in the most dangerous situation. And hope to make it out. We've had some people do. They're like, oh yeah, we're coming in and we're just gonna go crazy, and we're gonna go into the most sketchy, dangerous, remote, ridiculous place to go, just to be able to do it. It's like, no, you don't have to do that. No. If you are doing that, make sure you've had a good plan, you have good support, so if something goes wrong in those bad, sketchy areas, you have more than just one or two people to help you out, because the last thing we need is search and rescue and Snohomish County Sheriff being, yep, we knew it. We knew one of these volunteers was going to get jacked up on the mountain, and now we got to go rescue him. So we don't need that. That stain on us. So be safe when you go up there. Only go into areas Make sure you go with a friend. Because I know a lot of people are like, I'm just going to go up there solo because there's going to be 100 people up there. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you might not get off track and everybody else comes down, because only handfuls of people stay up there overnight. So make sure you go with somebody, take somebody with you, and overall be safe out there. So anybody got any other questions real quick while you got me here? And I know a lot of people have been asking me about, oh, what kind of gear do I take? What kind of gear do I use? And in some of my other videos, I talk about my gear. And I'm going to be doing, some more uploads and videos of the type of gear that I use out in the wilderness. As far as like backpacks go, I love my Arc'teryx ILBE. I just picked up a Mystery Ranch pack the other day because we were carrying a lot of gear, and I need to like really get surgical and precise with my weight, so I had to go and get a new backpack because my ILBE by itself weighs like 9 pounds alone, so I needed to be able to like cut that down. So I got a pack that was like 6 pounds alone, so I'm able to carry 2 more pounds of gear in place of what I shed off of my ILBE. So that's a couple of my packs that I really enjoy using. So Lots of comments of people saying, but we will be safe. Uh, Thank you guys all for your support. People who support us by bringing us stuff on the mountain. People who support us with just well wishes, blessings in your prayers. Financially, people have helped out, and I wanted to touch on that too because a lot of people have been asking, and there's rumors about the whole GoFundMe on my end. I did not launch that. I was actually trying to sell a lot of my extra gear in order to be able to fund staying on the mountain and staying on the search. And a couple girls who were following me on Instagram and following the Sam thing was like, hey, look, we would like to launch this GoFundMe thing if it's okay with Lisa in order to get you guys out there in the mountains doing what you're doing, to help offset your time loss at work, offset, what you spend on food and supplies to be out there searching and whatnot. So they're the ones that set that all up. The only thing that does is the only thing I really have access to or anything on it is mainly just like it going to getting deposited every week or whatever that they deposit to my bank account. But this other gal, Brooke, great girl. Thanks so much, Brooke, for all your support. She helped us hook us up with the thermal camera and whatnot. She's the one that really governs the whole GoFundMe thing. So that's how that got set up. And it has really helped out, it has really helped keep me on that mountain, keep my team on that mountain, help offset the costs of, bills and losing wages at work. So that has really been a help. It helped fund, we funded and paid for the helicopter flight that we did to get the footage that we needed. That came out of that. So that was all thanks to you guys. My new pack, the new binoculars, and food and supplies and batteries and all that stuff has all been there and by the support of all you guys. And no words that I was gonna express the gratitude that we have for that, and that is part of our drive to not stop, is because you guys have not only devoted all your time and energy but also financial contributions into helping find Sam. And what we're just gonna say, oh yeah, we're gonna stop now. It's been 35 days or 45 days or 50 days and she's still missing, and I'm gonna stop. I'll never stop. I'll be like her mom, I'll never stop looking for, I know as time goes on, we have to be, every day we have to be more precise and more strategic in where we go because it's becoming more dangerous. So before it was like, yeah, we can run around on a terrain and just scour the area and move fast and just attack the Titan and just crush it. And now all that's been done, and now it's like, okay, now we are going into the serious spots, up into these gullies where there's boulders hanging on, by threads that are the size of houses, that's going to come down and crush you and everybody in its path. And there's nothing you're going to do about it. And that's why we don't scream people's names in gullies like some people have asked. Well, I'm watching your videos and nobody's screaming her name. It's like, yeah, because there's like 100-ton boulder hanging by a thread above us. And there's like 3 or 4 of us in this gully. We can't yell. We can't whistle. And if she's down here, we're going to find her alive or dead, So you really got to be careful on what you do and how you move and what you say. And even sometimes like the clanking of your ice axe on rock can make something come loose. So that's where it's at, is, yeah, where it's more strategic, more precise. Planning has to be perfect and executed in order to make us bring Sam home. And we're not going to stop. We're not going to give up. We're there till she's brought home one way or the other, and we're going to do whatever it takes and whatever aspect it takes to make sure that she does get home, because there's lots of people who love her and miss her, and that's where she deserves to be. And as long as she's out there, we're not going to give up. We're not going to put a time frame on it. We're going to keep going until she's brought home, or until I'm an old man and I'm dying on my bed and I say, yep, One regret was that I never was able to find Samantha Sayers, but I believe that that'll never transpire. So I ain't got to worry about too much about that. Um, so like Lisa said, every avenue is being pursued. every every lead, every tip, um, any anything we get stuff from people. Oh, I'm a psychic, or I feel this, I feel that. We've always listened to it. We've always have those down, and we don't just discredit them. Now there's some that are like, like this one guy called up and was like, oh yeah, Samantha Sayers, she's in a in a cargo container getting ready to be shipped to Russia as some sex slave, and you better go do something right now about it, and then the next day I was like, oh, my bad, the psychic was wrong. you know so you can't just be like, get some tip and just rush out blindly and think, oh, okay, this is it. It's like, otherwise we've been like torching through cargo containers all over the place looking for somebody and probably get shot or arrested. So you got to be really smart in your decision planning on which type of lead or tip you wish to follow. But they all are considered, and we cross-reference them with anything else, and the ones that seem the most logical, the most plausible, we pursue, and in complete despair, we'll even entertain and follow the most illogical, the most outrageous. We'll entertain it, and if there's some way that we can form a plan of action to seek out that crazy, wild idea, well, we're gonna do it. So thanks for watching. I don't see any more questions, or were there questions? Oh yeah, I guess my chat thing got short out. So thank you for all your dedication. Has there been any ideas of which way the man said she was heading down the mountains? What she would head that way other than extra exploring? You guys are inspiring. Yeah, they said that the guy said that the last person to see her said he saw her going down the southeast ridge, which is west of Vesper Creek, and it's actually on the opposite side of the ridge of where the mines were. And we worked all that basin, no sign. I know that the SAR teams, it's been scoured. That whole area around there, from the summit down to about 4,000 feet, 3,200 where we've gone down to, where we can go down to, has been scoured. And then all the drainages along the creeks, along the rivers, those have been scoured by foot, by drone, by dog, by plane. So the area is just... the area that it's been searched is pretty massive, but also the area that has not been searched is pretty massive. Like Sperry Peak, it's right next door, and nobody as part of search and rescue through the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office was ever on Sperry Peak searching, or on Morningstar Peak searching, and they're just right there neighboring. You could almost spit to the other peak. So that's where last week's focus was on, and our focus a few times were on Morningstar. So we did Sperry last week, lots of drone. We got up on the peak by foot, and then when we were coming down on Sunday, a mountaineering club was going up to climb to the summit of Sperry and see if she logged down in the log book that she was up there, because I guess there's a book up there that you could sign and put some weather protective case that people do. So they went up there. How long of a hike from Cheaper to Morningstar? Oh, Vesper to Morningstar. Not even an hour. Not even, I'd say an hour. To Morningstar, not more than that. So they're really, really, they're all really, really close, and that's where we're at. So we're searching places that haven't been searched. We're going into the more precise areas that need to be searched, and we're entertaining all possibilities to bring a good, favorable resolution to the. It's really unfortunate. My heart's goes out to the mother, Lisa. We talk. We don't talk on the phone. We text mainly, or message. And anytime she has any thought, lead, or tip, or anything, she sends it my way. So you know, it's really unfortunate and sad that she log in the book. No, it's not on Vesper. The log book is on Sperry, not on Vesper, Shelly. It's on Sperry. So, thank you for this live chat. Lots of helpful. Well, thank you. Thanks, Vicky. For a minute there, my chat was down. You have a thermal now. Is there thermal footage available yet from y'all? So the thermal camera that we used in the mine shafts and whatnot. I'm Lisa's sister. Do you need the GoFundMe reposted, Lori? Oh, hey, Lori. Glad you're watching. Sure. Like I said, me and Kevin were really trying to bring our forces together to become more of a. Is there a trail from Morningstar back to where her car was at the trailhead? Yes, there is. I found that on my solo hike. There is, and the actual Sunrise Mine Trail, a lot of people believe just went over and dropped into the Sunrise Mine area and a Vesper, but it actually splits into two, and one goes straight up the ridge. If you're coming through the drainage and right after you cross the Stillaguamish fork, it actually one goes straight up the ridge of Morningstar all the way to the summit, and then the other one goes to the right that everybody knows of the Sunrise Mine Trail. And that was one of the reasons why I went up there on my solo trip, because I was thinking, well, maybe what if she decided to like avoid something or someone and was going to try to make her way over the Morningstar Ridge, because if you got over the Morningstar Ridge and dropped down onto the Stillaguamish side of it, the main fork of the Stillaguamish side of it, you'd be able to link up with either the river to get back to the trail or the trail. And that's why I went up. I just went up the opposite way from the Stillaguamish up and over, but through those little saddles in between the rig, I was able to determine that it's just too technical and dangerous for her to want to try to go over that way. But there is a trail that goes all the way to the summit of Morningstar, and we have searched the north and the west side of Morningstar pretty good under the tree line, and then anything above tree line we it's either going to be drone or helicopter or glassing with the bugs are coming out, or glassing with binoculars and spotting scopes. So yeah, that's all about Morningstar. Anybody got any questions at all while I'm here, or did I miss any did I miss any other questions when my thing was hid? And if you're still watching, Lori, no thanks is needed. It's the least I can do. You guys are all out there. You need as many people here in your corner for you while you guys are out there, because I know it's not easy coming out here. Do you all need your GoFundMe to be reposted? Okay, that's the same one. Stay safe. Oh, I don't see any other questions up there. I missed the info about the thermal equipment. So, thermal equipment was it was a Fluke thermal handheld imaging device that was loaned to us by Fluke, and we use that mainly in the mine shafts and adits is where that was used. It's not really something that you use per se for scanning like lots of ground or open areas or covered areas. It's more of a direct device, handheld device to use in close quarters or in small areas. So if there's any thermal going to be used again, it probably wouldn't be that type of device unless we're going back into some other type of adit or mine structure or something like that. But anything like hooked to a helicopter is just astronomical as far as price wise. But supposedly the sheriff's office is going to still occasionally fly over with their thermal and check out the scene every now and then when they're going around there. Yep, we will. We'll find her, and it's going to take all of us, all the web sleuths, all the, sitting around, talking about it, coming up with scenarios, thinking about it. It's all of it helps. All of is just one step more closer to Samantha. Every time that we think of her, pray for her, is another step closer. So, we're gonna get there. She will be found. We will find her. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So that's what we're focusing on, and the sooner the better. The mom, Lisa's gone through so much. Kevin, their family, their friends. She needs to come home to. But we also need to be realistic and know also that it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. It's just like in carpentry when I'm at work and someone's, well, how's this going to, how are we going to build this thing? And I'm like, or how are we going to do this crazy detail? And it's like, my answer is it'll manifest itself. It's one of those things that, is just going to build itself to be what it wants to be. And it's kind of like that in all aspects of life is we're going to find Sam when we're supposed to find her, when all the right circumstances come together and manifest Sam. And that's how it looks like it's going to be. Is I saw somebody say something about she didn't want to be found earlier. It's like, it seems like she don't want to be found. And it's kind of, to me, that is like the universe don't want her to be found yet, or the area, the terrain don't want her to be found yet. Not that she don't want to be found. She totally wants to be found. Anybody lost out there in the world wants to be found. So to me, it's she's not been found yet because the right circumstances hasn't come together to bring that about. And the more ground we cover, the more scenarios we play through our head, all is going to bring is bringing all that together, that puzzle together, to where there's going to be a picture, and the picture is going to be Sam is here and now Sam is home. So that's what we're going to do. She has an amazing team searching and praying for her. Yep, it's insane, like 40,000 followers or something like that Sam has. I mean, it's an army. And I wish I was able to, I wish everybody was like young, strapping, like put 40,000 people on the mountain if the terrain allowed it, and then just like scour out shoulder to shoulder and just cover every inch of ground. That would be so awesome. Like Kevin gets that from his family, I guess, down south, because it's just flat down there. Like, why don't you just stand shoulder to shoulder, like 100 people, and just like start walking, And it's like, yeah, I wish it was, but the terrain here is like, you can't walk. And I'm even entertaining a sky hook for anybody that, like trying to get a sky hook where someone could be hooked to a rope underneath a chopper and be like teabagged in cliff holes and around areas that drones really can't get into, and it's kind of sketchy to try to rappel or climb into. So that's another thing that I'm looking into, is sky hooking in there into really sketchy spots. The warrior song. Yep, her mom says she's a warrior, and I believe it. So Kevin believes it too. So yeah, so all Abner, hey dude, can you give a shout out to my buddy Nick Gurr? Nick Gurr. Oh, ha 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 ha. Funny guy. But yeah, you can just chill out with all that stuff. So anyhow, there's no more questions. I know my wife's inside waiting for me to come in and eat dinner. Like I said, John Francis is in the rest of the week. We're coordinating with them. We got lots of different places. There's still people up there. Just because we're not up there or Kevin's not up there doesn't mean that there's nobody up there. There's people up there flying drones every day. There's people up there searching every day. So there's always people on the mountain. And we'll be back up there here real soon too. But we got to do a lot of coordinating, a lot of planning, and coming up with a way to bring her home. And we will be safe. Thank you guys all so much for all your support, all your blessing, all your kind words. We need to keep this in the light because, you know, it really is a bizarre mystery that has to be solved. Um, we have to solve this, period. It needs to be solved. It can't be laid to rest because if it takes us into a direction where we don't want to be, um, you know, like let's say abduction, then you know, then if abduction happened, you know, something seriously has to be done. Something seriously has to take place because that cannot be allowed to take place out in our beautiful national forest parks. So yeah, so that's like a huge thing that cannot, you know, be to let go. Is if that's a possibility and if that's something that did happen to her, then something definitely has to be done about it through law enforcement, through anything. You know, law enforcement, FBI definitely gets involved because it is a possibility. And every time we, you know, cross off another area on the mountain of she's not here, she's not here, she's not here, she's not here, that leads to where it could be. Where does this lead us? So that's where we're at. And thank you guys all for watching, supporting, and sending us our love, sending all your love and your prayers. We really appreciate it. And we're not going to stop fighting for Samantha. We're not going to stop fighting for Lisa and her family, and we're sure as not going to stop fighting for all you supporters who believe us and support us in any aspect that you can. So later on in the week, after we touch base with John Francis and come up with some answers and have some more updates, I'll do another live video. And be safe out there, and we'll be too. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an evening, and until next time, we love you all, and we won't be able to do it without all of you. We'll all bring her home. Yep, people are saying, yep, good luck. We'll never give up. Sam's